All right.
Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host Young, and we're here with the brilliant Damien. So welcome Damien.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
Uh, yeah, you too. Could you introduce yourself and what you do?
Yeah. Sorry, I got a little bit of a delay going on here.
Yeah, could you introduce yourself and what you do?
Yeah. My name's Damian Lee Tiner. Just Damian's fine. I've been a musician for about 25 years. I've performed in the Dirt Boys out in the Mojave Desert in southwestern U.S. and done that for a few decades. I've been in several bands, and I wrote Purple Flower, the song that's been released with myself and Jeff Westlake, and mixing and engineering it. Uh, been at it a long time. I played guitar in the Dirt Boys for about a decade out there in the Joshua Tree, famous Joshua Tree, and yeah, and I'm still at it. I'm recording now. I'm finally getting into doing recordings and sort of releasing some of my material onto the the world out here.
Yeah, cool. So let's dive into some questions. As a kid, what were you listening to?
Let's see. Am I still connected to you here?
Yes, you are. Uh, the first question is, as a kid, what were you listening to? Uh, yeah,
Don't seem
can
to
you
be
hear
able
us?
to.
Oh, oh, right. Can you hear me now? Oh, I think we might have a little bit of a bad audio problem.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, I just for whatever reason I can't really
Bear
hear
with
you.
us, folks. Um, yeah, right, hang on. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, sorry, nothing's really coming through here audio wise.
Oh, right. Okay, bear with for 1 second. Yeah, stay right there. I'll be right back. Stay right there. Hmm. Right, yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Just barely coming through here. Let me see if I can try a couple things here.
Just to do the sort of.
Hey there. Do we got connection now? Hey, I see you.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Hey, I can hear you too. There we go.
Yeah, sorry, but yeah, sorry about that. I had literally had to come out of the studio to come back again to sort out the microphone issues. So I do apologise for this. It's
Oh,
do
okay.
apologise.
I thought maybe I was doing something wrong.
Yeah, yeah. I had the same. I literally had the same problem the other day. I literally had the same problem with the other day about mic issues for some reason. Sometimes I hate technology.
Yeah, I'm still learning as I go.
Yeah, yeah. I've been messing about with technology for what something like 40 plus years, and I've got like a love hate relationship with it.
Well, I grew up before the internet and all that, so you know, my 30s or so, before I really had a computer. So I'm, 40,
Yeah,
41 now.
yeah. I was about 20. Oh, it's got to be about what 20. First proper computer anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's try this again. Let's start over again. So could you introduce yourself and what you do within there, with what you do? So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Damian, guitar player, singer for the band the Dirt Boys. Also a solo artist outside of the Dirt Boys. I consider myself, a hard rock, heavy metal artist. I'm a songwriter. I've been at it for 25 years in the Mojave Desert in the Southwest America here, and I currently reside in Lake Havasu, Arizona. Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Those are my current stomping grounds. I played music for a couple decades out in 29 Palms and the famous Joshua Tree out there. And yeah, I've been at it for a long time, and finally getting to recording. I've always been a live musician. Now I'm getting into recording all these songs that I've written for the last 20 something years. And there's quite a collection of them that have never really been recorded.
Yeah, cool, cool. Yeah, so let's dive into some questions. As a kid, what were you listening to?
I think my first love was Aerosmith as far as rock and roll went, and then Metallica. That I took off. Really kind of with that. Guns N' Roses. I was a child of the '80s, and the '90s were sort of my teenage years. And of course, the Seattle music, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, those were big influences early on. So many things, Tool and Everlast and all these other bands, later on as years went by, became big influences on me. But the earliest ones I would say are Aerosmith and Metallica.
Yeah, cool, cool. Yeah, so who actually got you into like listening to music? Was it a family member or like your mother, like your parents, or a brother or sister, or was it somebody completely different?
I would say my dad probably had the most on that. It was kind of strange growing up. There wasn't much music in my house, and nobody played music in my house. And at some point, I started getting interested in music, and my dad sort of said, "Well, he liked like Janis Joplin and the Doors and Jimi Hendrix, and so I got into that stuff too." And but my dad was definitely the biggest pusher of my music early on. And, he's long past now, but he got me my first guitar. He found it in like a dumpster or trash can and brought it home, and that was the first guitar that I had. I started plinking away at and learned how to play later on.
Cool, cool. So, who actually inspired you to become a musician? Was it somebody from Aerosmith or Metallica, or was it say Jimi Hendrix, or was somebody different?
A combination of those. I grew up during the MTV era when they used to play music. So all those heroes that you would see throughout the 80s and 90s, those were. I watched the TV and I always dreamt of being this big, traveling rock star. And definitely out of Metallica was just huge. James Hetfield, I guess I related with him a lot. But I joined the jazz band in high school, and I had a music teacher named Mr. Kirchball that took me into like learning music theory and learning how to kind of read music and write music. He was a trumpet player, but I don't know. He was a big influence on me really becoming a performing musician.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. So, you mentioned a couple of bands earlier. Were you in any other bands prior to doing what you're doing now?
Yeah. Well, Dirt Boys is my most current. I was in the 29 Palms High School jazz band in 1999. I was a guitar player. I went on my first rock band was a band called Stereotype in 99. I played with an Elvis impersonator who's still active today named Lee Birchfield. We had a band called Black Velvet. Then I went on to do my first real original band, which was called Asylum in Joshua Tree in the early 2000s. And that I played in Hazmat, which was kind of a cover band in that era. And then I became the Dirt Boys. The Dirt Boys became pretty well known in the desert area. We were sort of this misfit, rock outfit, and there wasn't much of a music scene in the desert at that point. It's certainly blossomed over the years. I know like Queens of the Stone Age just came through there. There's pictures of Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin. In fact, he wrote a song called 29 Palms at one point. Yeah, and there were a lot of musicians that were passing through there, and so I played in the days when there was only a few venues in town, and I branched out into San Diego and some of the surrounding cities. But the Dirt Boys were probably my most prominent band that I did. We opened for Orgy in San Diego at one point. Just a lot of shows that we did in the high desert area, the Mojave Desert in general. And we're still active. I've just went more of a solo route. Once in a while, the band does do shows, maybe even more so now that Purple Flowers making a move out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's sort of like going sort of like more recent. What have you been up to? Especially over these last, I would say, 2 years.
Yeah. Well, I've been performing as a solo artist out here in Lake Havasu a lot. I moved away from the high desert area from California into Arizona. Um, and I got into recording recently. I bought, some recording equipment, and I thought, man, I have to start recording all these songs I've written over the last 25 years. And I played Purple Flower for 13 years, with Dirt Boys. And, it never really got recorded. And so I started recording, and this is where I met Doug Franklin. and I did a Dirt Boys did a show out in the high desert with him, and he got me into contact with Jeff Westlake, over the Purple Flower song, and we ran with it. I recorded it right here in this room, and then I sent it to him, and Sean McKenna from Nova Scotia, he played drums on it. We hadn't met each other up until that point, and we're working on another song here. Me and Jeff Westlake and Doug, a follow up to Purple Flower, and there's going to be a lot of more songs. I'm hoping to eventually do a full album and then have live performances. I have some musicians that are willing to back me in live performances when that comes up. But mostly I'm focusing on getting the stuff recorded right now, and then the performances will be coming. I have a couple local performances here coming up. I'm playing at the Oatman, Arizona, which is a kind of a famous roadside attraction place. And then I'll be playing in Joshua Tree in my old hometown here next week for it's called the Beatnik. It was a kind of a gathering of musicians they used to have in the early 2000s, and they're resurrecting it, and I'm going to be hosting it for a night. With the Ted Quinn open mic.
Yeah, could you tell us a little bit about Purple Flower? What is it about?
Purple Flower is about a girl. Lauren McLean was her name, but we all knew her as Ginger. And she was my best friend and essentially brother's wife. And she kind of went wayward at one point and got in with the wrong crowd. And she was murdered out there in the high desert, and by a couple other women. And we went to her funeral. She had a really big funeral down at the Glendale Forest Lawn, which is by the Hollywood sign. Lots of famous Hollywood actors and musicians are all buried in that cemetery. But there was a big funeral, and the song popped in my head, during the funeral, and I was really sad. She was also a very good friend of mine, and the band in general. She used to kind of be the person that kept us from going too far, into our the lives that we were living. And she was murdered, and the song came about, and it was dedicated to her. And the band, the Dirt Boys, we played it at every show for, well over a decade, about 13 years. And just as a dedication to our good friend that we lost, and a very tragic, moment in my life and in many people's lives. Me and her husband are still good friends and brothers to this day. He's really happy to see this song get out there and for her to be remembered. And we miss her dearly, and the song is very dear to my heart. So it was the first song that I just wanted to record and get out there, and the universe just all kind of came together and made it happen. Now it's out there for people to hear.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. So you said that you're going to be writing sort of like a follow-up song to Purple Flower. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the next song that we're working on with me and Jeff Westlake, and is going to be a song called Diamond Jack, which was also a Dirt Boys song for a long time. It was our band's opening song. I wrote it down in San Diego. It's a very, very sort of aggressive, song, sort of a commentary on society and all the craziness that's just going on all around, everybody all the time. And I don't want to say too much about it till it comes out, but it's going to be called Diamond Jack. It's going to be a very, very heavy song,
Cool. So how many songs are you planning on doing, writing and recording before you sort of like decide, what, we've got enough material here to go into the studio and record to actually do, like, say, a full album?
Yeah, I'm thinking a full album, 10 tracks, maybe even a couple more. I don't know, a good live set or two worth of material that's recorded and released and that could be performed that way. So probably after I get this first, album together, first collection together, of course I'm trying to pick the best out of about 60 songs that I've written. I think they're all good, but some stand out more than others. So I'm trying to focus in on those and
Yeah.
make a collection out of those and get them out there, and then start performing them live. Maybe touring. I don't know what the future will bring. Hopefully there's some success behind it, and that door opens up.
Yeah. So, if when you get everything sort of like ready, recorded, and released, are you thinking about planning on doing a West Coast tour, or are you planning on like sort of like a US tour?
Well, I would definitely start on the West Coast, just for logistic reasons. But yeah, I'm probably. I mean, I'm doing some local or semi-local performances, within about a 200-mile radius here. And but yeah, eventually, I want to, go do things like play the Whiskey a Go Go and some of the Hollywood stuff, and
Yeah.
just really get out there and play. I love the West Coast. I've been as far up as Washington and through Oregon, and I'm willing to travel and go anywhere that I need to go. When I'm not playing music, I'm a driver by trade, so I'm willing to go wherever I need to go to get this music out there.
Yeah. One of my subscribers has asked, are you when you sort of like get the album or even singles really, if you go down that route as well? He asks, let me see where. He says, "Do you will you release your music on vinyl?"
Yeah, if there's a call for it, certainly. Um, yeah, maybe even cassette too. I like driving an old truck, and I got a cassette player, and I like to listen to my own music sometimes when I'm driving. So yeah. As soon as we get to that, I'll definitely put it out on vinyl, and hope every form that you can get it in, CD, streaming, uh, whatever the demand is for.
Cool, cool. So, where can people find Dirt Boys and your solo stuff? Are you on social media? Have you got
Um,
any sort of like links to? Yeah.
yeah, Dirt Boys has a Facebook. It's Dirt Boys in 29, like 29 Palms. There is a Dirt Boys page. It hasn't been updated a lot recently. My solo stuff, Damian Tiner. You can find me on YouTube. I've been doing live stream performances here. I'm making music videos. Of course, there's a really awesome video to Purple Flower with Sam Bone did the artwork for it, for Purple Flower, and I put it together and did the video. So I'm going to continue doing some more videos to these songs as they get released. So YouTube, Damian Tiner on YouTube, Spotify. You can go on Spotify and look up Damian Tiner, Purple Flower, uh, iTunes, Deezer. There's a whole bunch of. I'm still catching up with the technology. I haven't even been on some of these sites, but they're anywhere that you can stream, music. Purple Flower is streaming right now. If you look me up on YouTube, you can find the Operation Desert Scream performance of Dirt Boys, and some other videos that I've done. And Facebook, Damian Tiner on Facebook. You can contact me personally, and I do have a music page called The Art, Music, and Poetry of Damian Tiner, where I also share some of my paintings and a few other things I do. And
Cool.
those are the best places to find me online.
Cool. Have you got any sort of like merchandise stores, so people can find where to basically buy like any sort of like music you produce, or to even
Um,
t-shirts or like caps.
yeah, I know we got some Purple Flower T-shirts that were just made up here. I'm not sure how if the link's live to get them, order them yet, but they will be. I know I have a DistroKid link that will take you to all that sort of stuff. Um, we just I don't think we've gotten far enough along yet to actually start merchandising because we're still recording other songs. But
Yeah,
I would just keep your eye on the things I'm doing. I'm releasing little things all the time. Yeah.
yeah, cool. Thank you to our good friend Doug, who's put the link to DistroKid in the chat there. So if you scroll up a little bit, you will find the link to DistroKid and to your channel as well, Damien.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Bastion. Bastion's put the link in as well to your YouTube channel. So go check out Damian Lee Tiner. So yeah, so go check him out.
Yeah.
So this is probably going to be my last question, unless anybody in the chat who's got any more questions. My last question is: any advice for people who want to become a musician?
Certainly. I would say first and foremost, don't give up. You have to keep at it. You're gonna take your blows. You're gonna have your losses. Sometimes people aren't gonna understand why you're doing what you're doing, but do it anyway, and practice hard. Play every day, and and I know that for musicians like myself who've been out there a long time, and some of us start giving up at a certain point. Don't give up. Keep pushing it because something like this could happen to anyone. Finally a song gets heard and you get it out there. It comes down to determination and grit, and don't compromise who you are for what people say you should be. Be authentic, be you. Practice every day, believe in yourself, and push your music. Don't hold back. That's the advice I would give. you know.
Yeah, cool. Sound advice. Sound advice. So anyway, there, Damien. Uh, thank you so much for coming on, and I do apologise for at the
Oh, no
beginning with
problem.
this tech issues. I do apologise, but thank you for your patience and for coming on doing this little interview. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, likewise. Great to meet you, and hopefully we'll do it again sometime. Maybe when Diamond Jack comes out.
Oh, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I will be more than happy to get on. And Doug, can you set that up, please? Yeah.
What
So
up,
he said,
Doug?
Doug says there's merch
Jeff,
coming
if
as
you're
well.
out there,
So
Sean and Sam and all of you guys that might be watching. And of course, shout out to Lake Havasu City,
yeah,
Arizona, Joshua Tree, and Joshua Tree, California, 29 Palms. Got to shout out all those people.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, guys, go check out Damien and the Dirt Boy and the band Dirt Boys as well. They are absolutely brilliant. So if you check them out on the socials and the YouTube channel as well. So yeah, go check them out, guys. So
All right.
anyway, guys, until next time, and again, thank you, Damien, for coming on.
All right,
So
man. You
catch
rock.
you all later.
All right.